This is real dangerous business, my friends. I don't know if we're safe in making this video. Because last night, if you had seen the post-game video that we made for Vancouver and New York, you would have seen the assessment that we gave that Connor Garland got hurt. Now, alongside of Quinn Hughes, Niels Höglander, Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Teddy Bluger, Victor Mancini, Derek Forbort, and there's one or two more, something like that. Filipino, that's who it is. With the addition of all those guys, Vancouver is in a pretty tough spot. And so with that in mind, we now have ourselves some more frantic anticipation as to whether or not this team is going to be able to make themselves a trade. Just looking at the roster they have available to them now, yeah, okay, these are the guys in the lineup. Take out Connor Garland and add in anybody else. I mean, give another spot to another Abbotsford guy. Why don't ya? It's kind of the only thing you can do at this point, right? But the Vancouver Canucks, with all of these injuries, have a pretty rough time sorting everything out. And so, we head back over onto the Boston Bruins, and we continue to dive into what exactly the trade waves are saying in regards to Pavel Zacha. Because we had ourselves a new report published on RG.org's James Murphy that dives into the latest on what's going on, and it also talks about what the Bruins would want in return. So, obviously, we've done our song and dance before about Pavel Zacha. We've made a boatload of videos about this guy and what he could bring the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, there's a video here. Elliot Friedman spoke about it. Patrick Allvin speculated to have not been done with making trades after the Lukas Reichel edition. Who knows if the guy actually gets traded, and who knows if I'm going to be awake by the time that trade goes down. But let's dive into what James Murphy goes out there and says, because of course Murphy is a primary Boston beat reporter. Sources say the Boston Bruins are standing pat on a Pavel Zacha trade amid the Vancouver Canucks' interest. There are a bunch of takeaways from this article, which we should dive into. First, which teams are showing strong interest in Zacha? The Vancouver Canucks remain the most aggressive suitor, with their pursuit dating back to last summer. Elliot Friedman confirmed ongoing talks between the two clubs, while the Flames and Oilers have also been linked as potential fits. Are the Bruins considering trading Zacha seriously? Not yet. Sources say Boston management is taking calls and assessing options, but they aren't ready to sell unless the team falls further out of playoff contention. The front office has reassured players they still believe in the current group. Who could Boston target in a possible deal? If a trade with Pavel Zacha materializes with the Vancouver Canucks, the Boston Bruins could inquire about defenseman Victor Mancini, a 23-year-old acquired in the JT Miller trade. His size and right shot profile fit what Boston may seek, especially with Hampus Lindholm sidelined. Now, that is gonna ruffle some feathers. Oh, you keep your hands away from my Vittorio Mancini and what he's able to bring, Boston. We don't need you taking this guy away from our organization. And this is one of the things that Canucks fans started to fear. Was their desperation for a center going to get so extreme that they all of a sudden started touching the Lekkerimäkis or the Mancinis or the Villanders in a trade situation? They were already reluctant to trade those guys away in the past. That's why they're all still Vancouver Canucks. But now that the team is getting desperate, now that Lukas Reichel is second-line C, now that Connor Garland is potentially hurt and somebody's going to have to get called up, now Vancouver could be even more desperate, and now they could potentially be twisted into making a trade with a young prospect. Seems like the Boston Bruins would be interested in a Mancini type. Let's read. Boston Bruins forward Pavel Zacha is once again the subject of NHL trade rumors. A 4-6-0 start, which included a 6-game losing streak, has GMs swirling like vultures over the Bruins, specifically asking about Zacha, who is also the subject of trade rumors this past offseason and dating back to the 2025 deadline. They're getting calls daily on those guys, and more so on Zacha, an NHL source told RG Friday night. Last Friday night, yeah, we danced on tabletops, skinny dipping in the dark. I know the Canucks want Zacha really badly. That tip came 24 hours before Sportsnet NHL insider Elliot Friedman confirmed the Canucks' interest on Saturday Headlines segment of Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night. I think it's all the way going back to the summer. The Canucks and Bruins have been on and off about this, Friedman told host Ron McLean. Teams are looking for centers. Boston doesn't have to do anything here it doesn't want to do, but this has been kind of a dance with the Canucks and some other teams, seeing if they can pry Zacha out of there. That lines up with what RG was told this past Friday, and also during the offseason when it was reported here that the Canucks were one of multiple NHL teams interested in Zacha. However, according to another NHL source, the Bruins have made it clear to Zacha and his teammates that they're not ready to throw in the towel on the season just yet by trading away a top 6 versatile forward from a goal-starved team such as theirs. They're definitely listening on Zacha, Mittelstadt, and other players, but it's more knowing their options should they be out of the playoff race by American Thanksgiving or the New Year, the source told RG. The management staff and the coaching staff have let the players know that they believe in them, so we'll see where this goes. According to the source, if things do continue to go south for the Bruins, one player on the Canucks that the Bruins could ask about if they haven't already is 23-year-old, 6'3", 229-pound Victor Mancini. Mancini was acquired in the JT Miller blockbuster trade with the Rangers last January 1st, when the Rangers acquired him, Filipino, and a conditional first for Miller. I know the Boston Bruins liked Mancini in his days at Omaha, Nebraska. I'm not sure there is an appetite on the Vancouver side to move on from him so fast, but that's a player I could see the Bruins looking at, depending on how long Hampus Lindholm is out maybe though. They'll want to add more on the left side of their defense. Now, that is really, really interesting. A scouting report that goes back years that the Boston Bruins were interested in and they liked Victor Mancini back when he was a Nebraska Omaha guy. Now, interestingly enough, of course, he was a New York Rangers prospect in that time frame, but he wasn't actually productive. 10 points in 40 games, 8 points in 32. There was a really interesting way that Mancini played, and that was evident when you watched him, but you wouldn't really see that on the points. Now, watching Mancini with the Abbotsford Canucks last year, honestly, the way he moves around the offensive zone, even though he wasn't that productive, it's almost like he has a mini Quinn Hughes inside of him that comes out once in a while like a gremlin that you feed after midnight and just decides to wreak havoc on the rest of the offensive zone. Mancini has a very interesting offensive element to his game that isn't the most consistent, but is scary when it shows up for other teams. And the Vancouver Canucks probably know that. They understand that there is a very nice offensive package of defensemen there, and a guy who at 6'3", 229 is just very solid, and he's got that defensive acumen as well. Yeah, he hasn't produced any points this year, but he's a good player, I'd say, this Mancini is. It's just, if Pavel Zacha is in a position where he's only getting traded to Vancouver if the Canucks include Mancini, I wonder what direction they decide to go. I wonder if the Canucks value Mancini so much that they don't get this trade done, even though it's already being labeled as the price to potentially make it work. If you enjoyed this video, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on a Pavel Zacha trade for something involving Victor Mancini? It wouldn't be one for one, of course, but what are your thoughts on that framework of a deal? Do you think it's easier for the Canucks to do this with Elias Pettersson and Tom Wielander already on the team? Do you think they have the potential to start thinking about trading away one of their top prospects because of the lack of center support and the desperation they're experiencing? Or do you think they should just weather the storm, try to continue with the roster they've got right now, even if they've lost out on Connor Garland potentially? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about a Mancini Pavel Zacha trade between the Bruins and the Canucks. Those comments help out with the algorithm, so I'd really appreciate it if you left them there. And if you like this video, feel free to hit the like button as well. I hope you enjoyed this Vishashral 9, and bye.